I see so many beginners in SMMA stop themselves from ever hitting 10K a month before they even start. And it's not even their sales, service delivery, it's simply their niche. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through my exact 5-minute process to finding a 10K per month SMMA niche. So by the end, you're gonna know exactly who to go after and how to start getting clients as soon as possible. So I'm gonna walk you through literally everything from A to Z. If you want this exact Miro board as well, have any questions, just DM me on Instagram. Now, first of all, we need to start by what is actually a niche. So a niche basically, and not the dictionary definition, just my personal definition, is basically a specific group or subset of businesses. I should say businesses. So some example niches that you've probably seen: roofers, pest control, solar, bathroom remodelers, real estate agents, tree removal services, anything like that, that's a niche. Med spas, literally anything. Any business you can think of, that's a specific niche. Now we need to actually answer the question, why is your niche important? So to give you a visual, Eskimos don't need snow. You're probably like, Noah, what does that have to do with anything? There needs to be a market for what you're offering. This is the first condition right here, that there needs to be a market to what you're offering. Because like, for example, if you're trying to sell someone on something, but they don't need it, if someone's in the desert and you're selling them sand, they're not going to pay anything for it. Maybe if they're in Antarctica, you give them that same sand and they're willing to pay 30, 50, 100 times more for it, just because there's less supply and there's so much more demand for it. So demand is the first step. It's simple economics. This is actually what I went to school for before I dropped out after a semester. But it's basically the more supply there is, the less demand there is. And I don't know if that's a good supply or demand curve, but it just, as supply goes up, demand goes down. So there needs to, number one, be a lot of demand for your product before there is even before you even pick a niche in the first place. Because if there's not a market for it, you're not gonna be able to sell it no matter how good your niche is. So the good news is, though, for you, 99% of businesses need more customers. People ask me all the time, Noah, do you think SMMA is going away like anytime soon? And like, when you break it down at its fundamental, SMMA, freelance brand scaling, whatever you want to call it, is you're literally just helping businesses get more customers, get more clients. And until the day where businesses just don't want to grow, which from what I've seen will be literally never. Of course, who doesn't want to grow their business? There's going to be a market for it. So that's the good news. Now that we know that, though, that okay, businesses are actually looking for customers, and just make sure you don't go crazy and pick like a random niche where they're just not looking for customers. But this is the first condition right here. Now actually picking your niche, getting into the good stuff here. First of all, you want to make sure you want to see the total addressable market, or the TAM. And so you could have the best niche in the world, but if there's a very small number of them, it will be almost impossible to scale. Because let's say there's 10 of your niche, then there's not even a market for it at all. So like some examples. So number one, how many of niche are there in the country? How many roofers? How many solar companies? How many real estate agents? How many pest control companies are there in USA, in Denmark, whatever country you're targeting? So example, I just looked it up. How many roofers in the US? There are over 135,000 roofers in the US. As opposed to, you go, how many personal chefs, as an example. I just thought of a random niche. There are about 10,000, while others estimate closer to 34,000. So you can see right here, there's literally, I don't know my math, 3 to 4 times the amount of roofers than personal chefs. So you could have the exact same service in both these niches, but this one would reach 4 times more people. So that's just something to keep in mind. Ideally, you want to have the biggest total addressable market possible. Now, it's not saying you need to have 135,000 or more, but you want to make sure typically the more the better is what you'll notice and what you want to pick. So the second question you want to ask is, how much does this niche make per client? So what is an average client worth to them? Whether it's a job, a customer, whatever they call it, what do they make per new client that you bring them? You want their average client to be worth at least, like at the absolute least, $2,000 to $3,000, ideally more. So like roofers, a lot of roofers, their jobs are like 20, 25K. Now that's not all profit. They're maybe taking home 5, 10. I don't know specifically in profit. Like real estate agents make like 10, 15, sometimes 20, $25,000 profit per deal. So you want a niche where they're making a ton of money, and you're going to see it's so much more. You can justify them charging you so much more. And that's why people in these niches like gyms, and obviously Hermosi scaled his crazy big, but it's just like a lot lower ticket. You need a lot more volume. So it's just easier because you can get one client, and if it's worth $10,000 to them, then they're happy. Even if you get another person 10 clients and it's like $100 each, that's only $1,000. So why not just go pick something that is higher ticket where you're making them way more money per actual client that you bring them? So a scenario right here is, let's say that they make, let's say $300 per client. You typically want to get your clients for your agency a 4 to 5 times ROI or more from your ads, meaning they put in $1, they get $4 to $5 back out. That's a pretty solid ROI. That's how you can go and charge ad spend as well. Because if you only get them a 2 times ROI just with the ad spend, they're not going to have money to pay you anything. So you need to get them at least a 4 to 5 times ROI from your ads. Now, to get even a 4 times ROI with the ads, if their client's $300, you need a cost per acquisition. You need to spend, for every $75 you spend, you need to get a client. And the thing is, if you have one bad week with the ads, they're unprofitable. So you need to be in this range. If you go a little over, all of a sudden they just basically stop being profitable. They get like a 2 or 3 times ROI, which it's not even, it doesn't even make sense at that point, because it's more risky for them to run ads than just to not run ads, because they're only making $200 per client. Also, if you get them 10 new clients a month, they're only making $3,000 from that. So with the ad spend, it doesn't make sense for them to pay you more than $300 to $400 a month in your service fee, because if they pay you $1,000 a month, that's already a third of what a whole month of running the ads would be, and that's on top of the ad spend. Whereas another scenario, if their average client is $10,000, let's say, you get them 1 to 2 jobs a month, so literally a tenth of the number of jobs or clients, and they're making $10,000 to $20,000 a month, which means obviously they're happy to pay you upwards of $3,000 to $4,000 per month on top of the ad spend. So you can just see the differences. Instead of choosing something that where they can get a bunch of clients, like a barber shop, tattoo, anything like that, why would you not just go and pick a niche where they're making $10,000 to $20,000 per client? And even if you get them one job, one client a month, they're super happy. They're willing to pay you, most importantly, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month. And it's just that simple. Now, once you have a high ticket niche in mind, they need to pass one more test. And you're going to see as well, like, dude, it's nothing crazy going through this. Like, a lot of it is pretty simple stuff, but I want to break it down so you can see the thought process behind it. But realistically, like, you should not spend, after this video, you should be able to go pick your niche in 2 minutes. And if you want, like, this Miro board, I have questions about your niche or just anything in specific, just go DM me on Instagram at noah.helped and I'll send it over. But basically, once you have a high ticket niche in mind, they need to pass one more test right here. And as a beginner especially, most guys get into the agency space, have never ran a business before. Maybe you did drop shipping like I did, but the service delivery is pretty different because you're optimizing for leads instead of sales. So the bottom line is that you're a beginner and you're not an expert in service delivery. So you don't have thousands of dollars to test on ads. You have the time, but you don't have the money. But the bad news is with ads, obviously you need money to fund the ads. So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, you can just go and just emulate what's already working for these other niches for other people instead of trying to go crack service delivery by yourself. So look for at least 3 to 4 agencies in your niche or in the niche you're thinking that are running B2B ads for their agency. Now, what this is, B2B, for those of you who don't know. So there's B2B and there's B2C. So B2B is business to business. B2C is business to consumer. So B2B is basically, if I work with solar companies, I'm running ads to the solar companies to bring them in, because I'm a business and I'm marketing to a business. If you're running B2C ads, that's like what you do for your clients. So if you're running ads for a solar company as your client to go find them homeowners. Homeowners are a consumer. Homeowners aren't a business. That's a B2C ad. So we're looking for the B2B ads, meaning agencies that are running ads for their own agencies to get clients, if that makes sense. But basically, you're going to go on the Facebook ad library, and whatever niche you're in, you're going to look up more roof jobs, and I'll go and actually do this with you. But basically, you just want to look, are there other marketing companies that are running ads for this niche? And you can see I just found like 3 right away of ones that are running ads in this niche. I'm going to go over and actually do it with you though. So you're going to go Facebook ad library, choose your country. We're just going to do all ads. And let's say we want more, you're going to choose all ads. And let's say we want more, let's say we're thinking about the solar niche. So what do these solar guys want? They want more jobs. So you can just simply do more solar jobs, just something like that. Basically, the way it works is it's all keywords. So we're going to look it up and see if we can find anything in here. Again, we're just looking for 3 to 4 ads. So you see these are B2C ads because they're targeting homeowners. So we don't want, those are the ones we don't want. So you see right here, this is an example. Stop wasting money on shared or low quality roofing leads. There's one right there. Looks like this might be another one. Yeah, this is another one right here. You can see already right away, we literally have 2 that were posted today. These started running literally today of people that have been running these ads. Stuck in a service-based business. Yeah, I mean, there's a million right here. But basically, that's all you're going to do is you're just going to go on here. This one as well. Here's another person targeting them. But you're just going to go on Facebook ad library, make sure people are actually running B2B ads in your niche. If you can find 3 to 4 ones, that's amazing. That's your niche right there. It's literally that simple. So basically to recap, if all the following conditions are met, number 1, their average client is worth at least 3K. Check that. There's at least 50 to 75,000 people, or 50 to 75,000 of your niche in your target market. So 50,000 roofers in the US, 50,000 real estate agents, and obviously there's way more. But ideally, you want to make sure there's at least a big enough market. But like med spas and stuff, I don't know how many med spas there are. Let's see. Like as an example though, there's approximately 9,000 med spas in the US, and that's why I do not recommend med spas for beginners. Some big agencies do really well with it, but it's just really tough because there's just not that big of a market for it. So you can see it. But then right here it says, I don't know, it says 50,000 right here, so I'm not sure what these specific numbers are. But ideally, just the more the better. Even like 50,000, try to get to like 75,000 or higher, because I know a lot of beginner guys struggle in the med spa niche. And then lastly, there's at least 3 other agencies in this niche running B2B ads. And if all these conditions are met, there's your niche right there. There's your niche. Whatever it may be, you have your niche. It's that simple. Basically, go through this entire flow chart, make sure you're going through all these, going through step by step, and you're checking these boxes. And once you do that, you have your niche. Stop overcomplicating it. After you have your niche, that's when you need to start dialing in your outreach and like literally just go start reaching out as soon as possible. Stop focusing on mastering service delivery before you have your first client. Stop worrying about sales calls before you have your first call booked. You know what I mean? Take it one step at a time, but this is the first step for you to go and actually take action with your agency. So stop watching videos like this. I'm telling you, go and pick your niche right now if you haven't already. And I want you to go and send me your niche as well. Ask me any questions you have. Feel free to comment them below or DM me on Instagram. Again, if you want this Miro board, just let me know and I can send it over to you as well. Other than that, I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you got some value. Again, go take action, and I'll see you in the video on the screen right now. Peace.